Did you know that Abraham once had lunch with God? The Bible tells us that one day Abraham was sitting at the entrance of his tent when he saw 3 men standing nearby. These weren't just ordinary travelers. One of them was the Lord himself. And without hesitation, Abraham ran to meet them, bowed low, and welcomed them with genuine hospitality. He asked them to stay, wash their feet, and rest while he prepared a meal. He rushed to Sarah and said, "Quick, make some bread." Then he selected a tender calf and had it prepared, along with curds and milk. Abraham personally served this meal to them under the tree. Pause for a moment and think about that. Abraham, a human, served food to God, and God ate. After the meal, God asked, "Where is your wife, Sarah?" "She's in the tent," Abraham replied. Then the Lord said something astonishing. "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Now, Sarah was listening from inside the tent, and when she heard this, she laughed to herself. She thought, "After I'm worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" But God heard her laughter. He turned and asked Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I really have a child now that I'm old? Is anything too hard for the Lord?'" Sarah got scared and denied it. "I didn't laugh," she said, but God replied, "Yes, you did." This brief exchange speaks volumes about God's nature. He hears even our silent thoughts. He sees our doubts. Yet instead of punishing Sarah, he reassured her and Abraham of his promise. God is patient. He understands our humanity. After this encounter, the 3 visitors rose to leave. Abraham walked with them to see them off. Then the Lord paused and said something profound to himself. "Shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do?" God decided to reveal his plans for Sodom and Gomorrah to Abraham, saying, "The outcry against these cities is so great, and their sin so grievous, that I will go down and see if what they've done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me." The 2 angels went on ahead toward Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. And here begins one of the most powerful conversations in the Bible. Abraham, deeply concerned for his nephew Lot, who lived in Sodom, approached God and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous people in the city. Will you really destroy it and not spare it for their sake?" God replied, "If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." Abraham pressed further. "What if there were 45? Narpade, Muppade, Yirbade? What about just 10? And each time, God responded with mercy, "For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it." This wasn't just bargaining, it was intercession. Abraham stood in the gap between judgment and mercy. He was willing to wrestle with God for the lives of others, and God welcomed that. He listened patiently and responded kindly. Sadly, when the angels reached Sodom, they found the city to be far worse than expected. Lot was sitting at the gate, a place where city elders and leaders often gathered. When he saw the angels, though they appeared as mere men, he insisted they stay at his house instead of spending the night in the city square. That night, something horrific happened. All the men of Sodom, young and old, surrounded Lot's house and demanded, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so we can have relations with them." Lot pleaded with them not to act so wickedly, even offering his daughters instead, an act that, while disturbing, showed just how desperate and terrified Lot was. But the crowd became aggressive and tried to force their way in. The angels pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men outside with blindness so they couldn't find the entrance. The angels then told Lot, "Do you have anyone else here? Sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it." Lot ran to warn his sons-in-law, but they thought he was joking. At dawn, the angels urged Lot, "Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters, or you'll be swept away when the city is punished." Still, Lot hesitated, so the angels grabbed their hands and led them safely out of the city. That's how merciful God is. Even when we hesitate, he may still pull us out. As they fled, the angels warned them, "Don't look back. Don't stop anywhere on the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away." Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah. The entire valley was engulfed in fire from heaven. But Lot's wife looked back, and instantly she turned into a pillar of salt. She disobeyed. She turned toward what God had just delivered her from, and in doing so, she lost everything. That morning, Abraham got up and looked toward Sodom. Smoke was rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. God remembered Abraham and saved Lot, not because Lot was righteous, but because of Abraham's intercession. Takeaway: this story reminds us of many things. God is just, but he is also deeply merciful. He hears the cries of the innocent and will not ignore evil forever. He listens when we pray for others. And sometimes he visits, even in the form of a guest, a friend, a stranger. So the next time you see someone in need or feel a prompting to pray, remember, God is watching, and he may be closer than you think.